But you see, it's a feature list is a relative thing, right? So let's take an example. There are 10 features to be delivered, right, as part of one functional set. And you want that customer to wait for all that 10 features to be delivered, but if one feature is important, or you see it's a mandatory, right, which customer wants at the highest priority, that can you deliver at least this? And because of Agile, you have broken your user stories like that, that yes, every piece is testable, or every piece is functionable anytime, right? That is the mantra of Agile, right? So it's just breaking down further, making it more simple. Certainly, in one day you cannot put a feature list of 10 features. That is not so. But what is point is that if you have identified a feature which is actually an effort of a one day or maybe 2 day, as I was saying that there is a small window, right? That is a there is some warning you have to put. There is some you just want to pop up one window in your user interface. That's a very small change. But for that change you want to wait for 4 to 6 weeks. That is not acceptable. That customer may not want. That is where we will be able to do that. That is see if you see change lead time less than 1 hour. This means people are interested in that kind of a change.
I have actually one comment on this. When you are telling that when actually the customer is expecting that we are going to give only small change, which the example which you have, they will also expect this kind of warning when they will do the testing.
Correct.
So when you do actually the feature testing, this kind of comment, I don't think so it will come from actually the customer. It's actually very.
I'm just giving an example. I'm
Yeah.
just giving.
And
See,
also,
I'm talking about that kind of a bug or a feature which I'm talking. This is more like a you can call it as a bug or feature, whatever, right? But that got skipped, right? See, a tester may not understand that, or maybe we forgot to add that. Okay, we don't want this hash add kind of a character in username. There is no point putting in there, right?
Yeah.
But customer says no, please stop it. I don't like usernames like that. I don't accept like that. Please make it numeric or alpha.
Okay.
Right? Then customer wants that change. Right? However, you say no, I will come back to you after a month. But that is what not is the current the way we are moving forward. That is what not is required and expected. Right? So for that, if you want to achieve that, right? If you want to, how are you going to do that? For that, you have to have systems in place, right? You have to have process in place. You have to have mindset in place, right? Then only you are going to do that. So that is the whole idea. See, this slide is particularly just to give you a feeling that what this slide tells is green is a touch time and this gray area is an idle time, right? So many a times, so this is again, this is not absolutely say basically what non-synchronization of DevOps, but you see that as part of DevOps, we are trying to optimize these pieces as well. Where in your complete development, the comment says touch time, adding value, most companies only achieve 10 to 20% touch time. Right? Again, you might have questioned what is the source. Right? But let's, but the fact is that you're maybe not 10, let's say 50-50. Right? Is that acceptable? Can we improvise? So the all idea, everything is relative. Can we make this gray area a little less? And from development till production, can we have much greener time? And when we will have much greener time with quality, that is the primary condition. And when we will have that, when we have systems in place, practices in place, tools in place. So this was that's the slide. So many times we just ignore this kind of a idle time which is going away in our processes, in our software delivery lifecycle. Right? So this slide talks about the gaps of dev and ops model. So we'll just look into gaps. See, they don't have common goals, as we understood. One is like want change, another wants stability. They don't use the same tools. So here the other perspective starts coming with tools, right? We are using tools, right? But we're not using same tools, right? That is where the conflict comes. we don't have sync, we have our own preferences, that is not implemented, right? No visibility into others, one other's process, right? That's a very important point because as I was saying in the beginning that here the idea is that operation team also needs to be involved because as Amin was saying, right, he doesn't know his production. So as your system starts, as your product starts, you know that this is my operations team. And this is not happening at all anywhere. Slowly, but the idea is to bring that perspective. He is a very important stakeholder in your project, and he can give you such important inputs, live inputs, which you wouldn't have thought. And if suppose he give, he's able to give you 2 inputs also of live kind of inputs, that will make a huge difference, right? So the third point is, please bring together. Don't have a wall. Break that wall. So that is the whole idea. Fourth, different implementation methodologies, right? Again, the way I deploy, I have a different technique. I have my own script, right? The way operations deploy, he has its own script, right? And when the developers or dev side to happen, so DevOps says different. So these are the gaps. So gaps, we want to erase these gaps. We want to remove these gaps. That's the whole idea here.
Excuse me. Earlier, that is not. I mean, that collaboration was never happening till now.
Okay, till now. Okay, yeah.
But it is not true. First of all, let me. Who are on the floor basically? So we implement some things. Then, for example, let us take a credit card industry, correct? So there will be people on the floor, like the call center guys, correct? So whenever an end user calls and asks the call center guy to do something, he will do some adjustment on the screens, correct? Or people on the floor who actually take the printout of the statements and send to the, correct? So though in a financial company, we used to consider operation as that. But thanks for clarifying, because coincidentally, I used to be in operations. What you call as operations is what we call as production support, basically.
Okay.
Application support,
Exactly,
production
exactly,
support, network
exactly.
support, it could be anything.
Support, you can use the support
Exactly.
term or whatever.
So I am talking about 12 years back also. We used to have a very good process called as SQP, production support interaction, where one person from production support will be assigned to every new project which is coming up, and he will be reviewing all the phases. He will be reviewing all the documents which come out, the design, the analyze, and he will be raising concerns. If he sees that something is going to cause a problem in the future in production. So those kind of things were already there, but I think what was missing was the automation part, the speed, the tools basically.
Yeah, so at that from teams, there is a person representing from production. The other person says that no, in my team, there's nobody from operation team, right? The only difference was that the company was a Bank of America. So, the BFSI sector where people have already started experiencing the way this work, right? Because their releases are more, the way transaction happens, right? This will not be true for a telecom kind of a product where you have much less releases, right? So what I want to make a point here is that what you are saying is that this could be true, and it's a good initiative. Somebody would have thought it, and from there itself, people have started thinking about DevOps. And now DevOps, as I said, it is an evolving definition. There are a lot of things. Today is not complete. People are adding tools. So if you see here in this particular slide, process, people, tools. So DevOps is kind of will get addressed when you will implement your practices, or when you will address those gaps in these 3 axes. That is process, people, tools. So people says no collaboration. Process is like it's mentioned manual, and tools non-standardized tools, where we are not using common tools, right? So on all these 3 axes will have to make an effort, right, to get the DevOps principles implemented for our software delivery. So that's the whole thing, right? And you can see on the top on this line mentioned software glitch costs trading from 440 million in 45 minutes, right? So that is where these are the things which are driving it. Because a small change, a small transaction, right, which adding there could be a addition of a zero, or in a bank like place, addition of 2 zeros can make a big difference. And that is where we want to ensure that not a single bug is escaped to the production, and production comes to you and tells that yes, reviews, as you say, they have, because they will have a much bigger perspective of what is happening in life, which cannot happen in your non-production environments. So this is a picture you can. This is a picture you can see here, or maybe somebody wants to guess what is happening here. What is this change?
Specific peoples are there for each and every role. Now we have actually a bunch of people who is playing each and every role.
Correct. So
You have business, you have developers, you have customers.
So the minds have different colors now. So you can see that it's I would summarize it with one collaboration, right? Now people are interacting. So when after arrow and person goes, he has both the perspective, right? Operation guy understands development, what developers are trying to do, right? And developer understand what operations are going to do. So there are 3-4 colors, but still the message is that more collaboration, all teams coming together. That's the whole mantra, and everywhere it's like that. Agile. That is what we are struggling, practically struggling. Distributed teams, they are not coming together. How to do that, right? That is where I was showing here, right? These people, that is where you require cultural movement, right? It's about bringing, and that will happen only when your KRAs would be defined like that. If you will say that, yes, my bug or a failure is equally responsible or is equally accountable for both the teams, the development and operation, then they will work together and make it happen, otherwise not. Right?
I have a question. Are you suggesting a cross-functional team which Agile suggests, or
See, other teams have come together now, say test-driven model, right? All test teams are before coding itself coming and discussing, right? Earlier it was not the case. But here in particular, DevOps is operations team were left out. They were not considered, but that the message is that they need to be part of your every meeting and they need to collaborate. That's all.
so there are separate teams and not cross-functional teams within a project?
Yeah, not cross-functional, certainly. As long as it is, making sense, certainly. But again, as a product, you would want to do that again. That is,
Because when we start talking about two different teams, conflict will arise. So when we make it as a cross-functional and collaborative, then the chances of having conflict would be less.
See, we should not be scared about conflicts, because conflicts will be there. But what I'm trying to say is, I think you have a point. But what I'm trying to say, very, depending on the situation, you have to take a call. How much dependency? Suppose there are two functional units which are interdependent on each other. Unless you bring together, you're not going to solve it, right? Then how will you do the integration? Right?
You said the objective of both the teams, the dates and also different now. So if we have to make the objective for them together, then they have to be in one team.
Correct. Okay, so one team means you are trying to collaborate. That's the only message. You see, dev and ops, they don't talk to each other, and people don't know his operation, right? Or operation might see, it's all formally. Informally, team might come and let me find one developer. There is a problem. Can you please help me with the information, right? That should not be the way. He should have an authority and say and write an email that yes, can you please tell me the information? So that is how the collaboration is happening, but it needs to be at a much broader level, much initial level, right? Not after problem comes happening. You will write an email to a development team, right? He will, but when they will come and talk together, they will talk in a different mode. They will not be. Initially itself they have made up their mind that I'm going to point finger on them. So like that. So that should not be the mood. When they are coming together, they have to have a notion and feeling that yes, it's all collaboration, so nothing to explain there.
I have a question actually. So when we say DevOps,
Technical track and technical track, right? You may want to, as you were saying, right? Tathagat was saying, you want to cross things, right? What's the harm?
no, there's no harm, but what I want to understand was like, have we seen any practical implementations where this has worked?
See, it's all, okay, so working is, people are trying to do that, right? People are trying to slowly see Agile how much we have implemented, right? In Agile, I see basic things missing, right? So DevOps is far away, right? How you are bringing operations
No,
together.
because I mean I'm currently working for Tesco, so we have been using Agile for the last 4 years now. We are trying to move into DevOps.
Good relationship with Tech Mahindra. So
I can probably just add there. So, solution engineer, and this is basically an ops team which will test code in, they'll simulate it in production environment. So they're actually part of the same team. So they're essentially cross skilled. They
They are
already
part
know.
of the same Scrum team.
They're part. They were part of the dev team, but they've now carved themselves out, and they're a separate Scrum team. But they're skilled. They're just as good as the developers, or vice versa. You know. So at any point, anyone can actually step into that team if they were interested in doing solution testing or.
So I'll just summarize. I have already more built, right? Or when we are using Jenkins as a platform, we say we are continuous integration in build, right? But there is again a much more to do there, right? So I'll just I'll just put a little 2-3 minutes here in DevOps cycle. You can see that this is what we were trying to achieve, right? We want to do the complete. We want to complete this cycle, right? So here it's just. See here, you can say that release automation, right? So this is another perspective in terms of tool and processes, right? We start with planning, business planning, collaborative portfolio planning, right? Agile development test. We put certain processes and tools, that is one, release automation, service virtualization, environment management. These three things are today independently getting practiced. Right? People have release automation in their practice. People have service. So I have seen service virtualization is picked up much, faster than release automation. Right? Environment management. People are using Chef and Puppet tools for their operation things, but together not, but not in as a whole DevOps solution. Then you can say monitoring, right? Monitoring is nothing but you want to add this in your process, right? You are going to implement your monitoring agents. Like for example, there's an open source agent called Zabbix, right? There are tools from product companies also, right? So why you want to do monitoring? You want to put data into your live systems, or rather, you want to put monitoring tools into your live systems, right? That Nagios, Zabbix, right? You want to get that data till your agile develops basically to your developers, to your development teams, and that is the whole funda, right? Whatever is happening on the operation side, with all the three possible accesses from people, so cultural movement is required. You would say that you both are ownership, you both have a ownership. You bring together, right? Tool side, you see that is done. But what more than that? We say I want to have tools. Right? I'm going to put monitoring tool, which is going to capture my live data, which is going to feed it back to my development team, but that thought needs to come. That process needs to be established, right? And you say that is where the continuous business feedback, right? That is when we do all this, and vertically these release automation, service virtualization, environment management, covers your DevOps solution. But when you complete this cycle, the ultimate goal is to complete this cycle with the proper feedback, right? You say that you have kind of practiced DevOps.
What kind of data that feedback to the development team on the monitoring data?
See, again, it's okay. So example is like, for example, if I take an example, this could be a scenario where let's take a banking application, right? Where it's very likely that on 31st, because of salary credits, right? There would be a high transaction rate, where people would want to do too many transactions of their money here and there. So that data is not available, right? How are you going to capture it? That needs to, and your system needs to be designed for that peak load, right? How much that load was, right? So that somebody can tell production, when it fails, production knows it. He will orally say that, but we want that through proper established through tools and processes. So that kind of a data. So, okay, so I will just DevOps just another 3-4 minutes. So I will just summarize here that there are some few points. If we are doing this, we can say that to an extent, as I said, that's still evolving definition, but we still can say that yes, we have kind of we have understood DevOps, we implement DevOps, we practice DevOps. So these are the points. The first is requirements management. You can see that requirements management and communication across development and operations. That is what we were talking. The second point is important, versioning of all DevOps assets. What this means is, you must have heard of a term called infrastructure as a code, right? What that means is that most of the time, whatever code or whatever scripts are used in a production-like environment, where we don't care that, we should code redo version it, you put it in a version system, but we don't put those things. So the second point stresses that all infrastructure scripts code needs to be versioned. And that is very important because of repeatability. If you have versioned, you know what change has happened, right? And that is the another problem, that delays will happen, errors will happen, right? You want to maintain that. Third point, access to production-like environments. I said service virtualization, right? Service virtualization is a tool, is a technology which captures, you can virtualize services. Real services. You are certainly there could be a question that you might not want to virtualize everything, sensitive data you can mask, but rest of the services which are not easily available. So you can all virtualize that. Companies have come up with such good tools on service virtualization, and really people are leveraging this technology. And certainly what you eventually do is a shift left, right? With service virtualization, you do shift left. Shift left is like you try to find bugs at as early as possible in your delivery life cycle, right? Fourth is deployment automation, release automation. Tools are there. I will just give you a small example. What this tool does is, these platforms are available. These are more standardized platforms. I was talking about using same tools, right? Same implementation methodologies. Earlier there used to be like C was there, then Java came. The difference was only that